Hello and welcome to The Well. I'm your host, Dr. Brendan Arm, Doctor of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine, Chinese medicine herbalist, and founder director of Lotus Integrative Medicine in Santa Monica, California. There's a wealth of health-related information out there, and I'm joined today by this wonderful group of integrative and holistic medical doctors and practitioners to share some of our favorite wellness tips. Please let me introduce you to Bianca Rodriguez, a holistic psychotherapist, Dr. Heath McAllister, a naturopathic doctor and registered herbalist, Leona West, a clinical nutritionist and herbalist, also trained and certified in functional medicine, and Dr. Rob Krochmal, a medical doctor and a practicing physician who is board certified in family medicine, nutrition, and integrative and holistic medicine. So let's begin. Today's topic is forest bathing.
So forest bathing, I think, like very formally comes out of Japan. I may not be saying this correctly, but it's called Shinrin Yoku. And if we think about it, I think around like 65 to 70% of us live in cities. And it said that Americans spend 93% of our time indoors. That's 93%. So it's now this experience of like getting out in nature and bathing in nature, getting all that multi-sensory experience that bathing in nature can provide. In particular, forest bathing, of course, we can bathe in any form of nature, but this kind of very formal forest bathing comes out of this approach of spending about 2 hours in the forest, not doing anything, but just being led by your sensory experience, by smell, by touch, deep breathing in, getting that oxygenation, that color therapy, that's so key. Our eyes need a certain amount of blues and greens and just kind of, taking that in and what that does to the brain. So, that's kind of my understanding of it. And of course, it can broaden out to just that greater importance of mingling with nature a little bit more.
I think that experience of being connectedness, from like a biotic perspective, we are a living thing, and being around other different living things, I think that can really, there's so many benefits to that, and including just having an appreciation of nature so that you're less likely to just like bulldoze it if the opportunity comes up, but also connecting to kind of our biotic ancestry. Also, plants have, they release oxygen, they take in carbon dioxide to release oxygen. We breathe oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide. We have this symbiosis with plants that's really amazing. And I think when you're in a forest, you invariably are going to slow down and be more present. There's so much to observe. And like you said, Leona, the different colors that we can experience, green specifically, there's been some research that shows that green light or, green colors will reduce our cortisol levels, which is one of the stress hormones in the body. So I think, for so many reasons, being in nature is so key for all of us to, especially consider, during COVID times, we really feel disconnected and not a part of our greater, communities maybe. And you can be a part of your greatest community, which is the earth, by just walking in the woods.
And it sounds like mindfulness is incorporated in this practice, and that you're utilizing all of your senses, including, I think, that sixth sense of your intuition, where you allow yourself to be led not so much by logic, but just by this kind of knowing of, oh, I'm just curious, to feel, to go over in this direction. And mindfulness is really just activating the senses to what is going on in the present. So beautiful, beautiful. Are there special places in Japan or wherever that are for specifically doing this? Or is it just like, it's just a practice and you could do it anywhere? There's nature in a forest. How is it kind of designed?
Well, I like the idea that Leona was saying, as far as if you're able to be in, if you're in LA or going to the state park or, one of those places, or even to the beach, and being there for 2 hours, there's something about the length of time, and just, we're so used to doing things rather than just being, but the idea of letting go. I imagine that if you didn't have as much time, you wouldn't be able to go as deeply, but even just being next to a tree or taking some deep breaths, I think if you have that opportunity, can be helpful. And in the same regard, I would just add that, again, we're so used to maybe like taking a pill or even taking a supplement, like that's what's going to make us better. But the idea of letting go and of letting nature and our own innate healing intelligence take over.
I certainly have many thoughts on the subject. However, I'll try to make it very simple. From a Chinese perspective, this medicine, comes many theories on the medicine comes from a Taoist perspective of how things operate in nature. A lot of the theories in Chinese medicine are based on observation of nature and connecting with nature. And just in its simplest form, I think Dr. McAllister was commenting, and others were too, that the color green in Chinese medicine represents the liver gallbladder or the wood element. And being around green, like a green living trees and plants and flowers and things like this, helps to harmonize our liver and gallbladder and our wood element, which is all about regulating the nervous system. So being in nature, in its very simplest form, would be very harmonizing to our nervous system, which most of all of us city folk and even people who don't live in cities are suffering from a lot of nervous system disharmony. So connection with nature, and especially if any time of the year, springtime is the season associated with the wood element and liver and gallbladder. So there's no time like the rebirth of spring. Well, that's all the time we have today. If you have a topic you'd like to learn more about, let us know with a comment on social media. And also don't forget to subscribe to our The Well YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us, and please join us next time for more wellness tips. Remember, regardless of where we are, our resources in the well are limitless.